Um, I felt pretty, I guess, like motivated from the last video that I made, to kind of keep making videos. And I think I would like to be more consistent with making these because I enjoy doing it. Like I enjoy making the videos and I think it's cool. I think the only maybe thing I may struggle with is any sort of like organization with it, I guess. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Um Mostly of what I'm going to be talking about today is going to be a mix of a couple things. One, I kind of wanted to talk about um how people can be friends and be very active in each other's lives and then either all of a sudden or very slowly you kind of just drift apart. And this can happen with friends, this can happen with like, other relationships, things like that. But it's just something that I thought about and I thought could be cool to kind of speak on a little bit. Because that's happened with me for sure with just various either friendships and such that I've had. And I just think it's kind of interesting. Um because in a way, if any sort of relationship kind of just drifts apart, typically I feel like it's with friends. Um there's no real closure. There's no real closure to that part of your life or your relationship with that person. It's kind of just either slowly weans away or maybe all of a sudden breaks off. Um, and I feel like for me personally, uh, the part of maybe not getting any sort of like closure, I think I handle that pretty well. Um, I feel like for me, like the way I've handled that, um, I guess I'll say that I almost want to say, well, yeah, I think for me, like I handled that pretty well. Like it's not something, at least so far, that has kind of like really, really left me like wondering. Um, or I don't know, like kind of like really impacted me in a way. I think it's something that I'll think about from time to time and, I'll acknowledge it and, kind of think over it, but nothing like super huge, I guess. Um, but I don't know. I feel like it's something that a lot of people experience, and this could be not even full established friendships that happen for a while. This could be somebody. I mean, we could even go into, how people can kind of just come and go in your life. In general, not even just like with long-standing friendships and such, but like you can meet somebody at an event and have good conversation with them, talk with them, all of this, and never see them ever again in your life. Um, there's a lot of people for me that I have no idea where they're at in life, where they are, what they're doing. But at one point in my life, like I knew all that about them, I guess, and that, I've regularly interacted with these people. Um, which is kind of weird in a way. Um, and I imagine that they really don't think too much of it, I would think. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like what I was saying earlier. I don't think it's something that has ever, I think, impacted me a ton. Um, I think it's because of the way that I am, I guess, like my personality type or whatnot. Um, I've definitely like tried to like check on people from time to time and try to maybe like relink uh lost connections and such, but Not super often, I guess. But I wonder if there's a word, I guess, for this particular like situation where you kind of just like, I guess, drift apart from people. I think the most odd part about it is like, you know, like I'll never see this person ever again, like for my entire existence on Earth. You know what I mean? Like you'll never you'll never speak with them, you'll never see them ever again, most likely. At least like for what I'm thinking about, you know. And that's insane to think about in a way. And like this happens for a ton of people. You know, it could be like people that you met in school, people that you met at past jobs, people that you met at clubs, events, things that you went to, things like that, you know. Um yeah, it's weird. Um how people can kind of just be like a like, you know, something that passes by and then it's gone and, you know, there's no returning, I guess. A little strange in a way. Um but yeah, it's definitely happened for me and I mean, I think back to even like, you know, young childhood of people that I have no idea, like, you know, what they're doing or where they're at in life, which I don't know. It's kind of like, it's just strange. I think it's natural though, I guess. Like, it's just kind of a part of life, so to speak. Um, that's just kind of how it goes. Um, I wonder how the brain may process that, I guess, like, with people like, you know, being out of your life like that. Um, yeah. I don't know. It's something that I've like thought about and acknowledged. I guess that's why it's maybe important to, I guess, make sure that you have like a good impact, um, you know, on people as they enter and may leave your life. Because you never know, I guess, like when people, because sometimes it just happens super quietly. You know, I had friends who I was hanging out with and, you know, doing stuff with super actively and, you know, just slowly drifted apart. Um, and kind of, you know, without any sort of warning, you know, it kind of just happens slowly and quietly, like I said, more so in the background. And yeah, no one acknowledged it really, which I think is kind of funny. Um, it just kind of happens, you know. And I feel like that's probably for a lot of people, you know, how it is. I see kind of references to this or have seen references to this situation on social media. Um, so you know, I definitely know it's a thing where people are definitely experiencing this as well. I don't think it's a really rare thing. I think, you know, you make friends in life and then you kind of drift away because like you make different decisions and you grow differently, you know. Maybe at a certain point in time, you know, you and maybe this group of people or this person, you were kind of in a similar um just a similar mode in life, similar I don't know how the best way to put it. I almost imagine like two lines that are going in opposite directions. So there's one line that's going from the bottom left to the top left or top right, sorry, and then a line going from the bottom right to the top left, and they're just going in that linear path, and then they cross paths, right? And there's a moment where they're on the exact same, you know, plane or whatever. They're overlapping each other, but then they keep going. And that's kind of how I view, I guess, this kind of event in life where like you're, you know, you're, and it's yeah, and yeah, I feel like every interaction with your life, I feel like not every interaction, but like I feel like interactions in life can be maybe modeled after that a little bit. I think a lot of people that you may meet in your life are like that, where like, they're going in a certain path, you're going in a certain path, and it's y'all are on a trajectory where you meet, but then you drift apart or you kind of keep going in separate directions, I guess. Um, yeah, I guess there's a lot that goes into like all these building blocks that have to be laid and things that have to happen in a certain way to like meet certain people. I think that's kind of interesting. Like if maybe something was off and if one small detail may have been changed, you might not like meet a certain person. Um, yeah, just strange. It's something that I've like kind of thought about a decent bit, I guess. Um, yeah, it's kind of the main, thing or thought that I had as far as kind of just like talking about anything. Um, I guess just to kind of call back what I said in the very beginning of the video, and it kind of popped up as of the thoughts popped up as I've made or have been recording this video, is that I hope that like me being more consistent with videos, though it's fun, that I keep like the quality, I guess, intact, because I almost feel like I may drift into the land of quantity over quality, but maybe quality may come and go, and that's fine. I think I just need to be kind of like okay with that, I guess. Um, I guess I should kind of like talk about this world too that I have here. I didn't really like mention anything about it, I don't think, in that last video, but this is just like a new world that I created. It's on version 1.10.2, and I did get inspiration from like another creator to play on this specific version. There's a channel. I want to say his name is Monochrome's Lair. Definitely check him out. Um, I haven't watched like a ton of his stuff. I've watched like a couple videos, but he made a video about how he plays on 1.10.2 is like his main version. I thought that was kind of cool because it's just like non-standard as far as like a lot of the versions that people play on. Um, which I thought was neat because a lot of people, they have very popular versions that people will play on, especially historical ones. For example, like beta, a lot of people will play 1.7.3. For alpha, it might be 1.1.2 or whatnot. um, or 1.1, I think it is, like underscore 02 or something like that. But there's like these pretty big versions that people will play, but I think like 1.10.2 is kind of unique, and I like that. It was pretty cool. Um, I definitely have historically made a server with some buddies for this version years ago. Like after this version it came out, played on this version. I don't remember why. I think I was just kind of like going through different versions and testing them out. Um, but yeah, random tidbit, I guess, about this world. Um, but yeah, so I'm having fun with it. I think like the videos will passively kind of push things along in the world where I'll build things and whatnot. I have ideas about things I want to build. Definitely want to build some sort of like a fortress or castle. Got to. That's kind of like a classic. But I'm not like a huge builder, so I feel like you know, the quality of what I'm building may not be great, but hopefully the uniqueness of whatever I create kind of makes up for it. Um, but yeah, as far as like people kind of, you know, going into your life and leaving, kind of like I said, it's a very strange thing. It's very, you know, weird thing. It's the fact that like I think the biggest factor, the biggest kind of like surprising thing is like you like kind of what I mentioned before is like a very high probability like you'll never see these people again. And it's kind of like people like if someone were to watch my video, like they could watch my video, they could watch 2 minutes of it, they could watch one, you know, and they may never see a video of me ever again. It may just be kind of like a passing thing, and that's insane too. And I totally like expect that to happen, but even that's insane, you know, like there might have been people who watched like earlier videos on my channel that like maybe have forgotten I even exist, you know, like or like don't even remember watching like the video. Hopefully like though in situations like that I can kind of like leave like a good impact in some way or another though. That'd be kind of nice. Um but I guess kind of what I was talking about in the beginning of the video can apply in that area too. It's like, you know, you have these I mean, I can even like recall like, you know, when I was younger, um, you know, people that I like played video games with online with, because like when I was younger, that's definitely something that I did like a pretty good bit. Um, just like meeting strangers through video games and then like, you know, um, building or creating friendships from that. And yeah, there's a lot of people who I met that way that, you know, no idea where they're at or, you know, maybe the relationship that was built was just through like was more gaming centric or whatnot. Um, and I could have like there could have been things that they didn't reveal, you know what I mean, to me, that I'll never know. You know, I'll never know about them. That's kind of like insane, in a way. But you know, even stuff like that, like it doesn't have even have to be like IRL, I guess. You know, it's like people that you could have met online. You know, like I definitely have like just kind of like in the past have let like or met like many different people, um you know, that I like I don't know, it's just strange like you've like talked with these people, we've had like conversations and like yeah, you may, you know, never ever like speak to them ever again. It's just it's a weird concept, I guess. I think on the surface, like if you hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, that's, you know, okay, that's what it is. But I don't know. I think like it could be the way that you think about it or the way that you approach it that makes it kind of like insane, I guess, or more impactful of an event. Uh, I guess impactful in the way of interestingness that's tied to the fact that it happens. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like it's insane. But also like I guess to like add this again, like I think it's just like a natural part of life. Like people like you kind of like grow and you typically like you'll grow and you'll kind of evolve as a person, your interests change, like what you prioritize changes, and that's kind of like what drives you away from certain things or like make changes and whatnot. Um yeah. It's definitely you know, it's kind of cool to talk about it though because I know that a lot of people, most people, if not all, like will experience this type of event, you know, to some degree. Um, also like, you know, something that's interesting is, you know, what if you could, like, what if you had a wish, uh, Like, I don't know. What if you could, like, somehow, some way pull back, like, a random online friend that you may have had? Um, like, be able to somehow, like, you snap your fingers and you and that person are, like, now, like, you know, in a room or something like that. And are able to, like, talk to each other, I guess. Like, what would you ask them? What would you know what I mean? Like, what would you talk about? I don't know. I think that that's kind of cool, I guess, of a thought. Like, like someone who was in your life, uh, but then y'all kind of just like went on separate paths. Um, yeah, no, it's kind of interesting. Another random side note. I'm gonna try to make sure this video doesn't go too long, because I kind of want to keep them shorter. I don't know why. I think it's just feels a little bit neater, I guess, to keep them a little bit more short and short in quotations. Like we're already 22 minutes in or so. So I don't know. I think a lot of my past videos would go to like 40 minutes and such. So I think it's just hard. It's hard for me to make like short videos because I think it takes time for me to like get into a groove of like just kind of speaking or thinking about something. Um, I had this idea. So like and I need to like talk about this, and this is kind of I talked about this in the original video or my first video I think I made on this channel where like I like essentially TLDR is I typically will play I'll typically have a server and like I'll be the only one playing on it, and I just prefer to play on a server for some reason versus like single player. And in that video I kind of go into reasonings why, but I'm doing that right now, and it kind of made me think of like what if there was like a server where like a bunch of people had access to it, but like there was only one person allowed in the server at a time, I guess. Like how would that go down? How would that play out? Um it'd be weird, right? Because like you're playing with other people but not, and then like it'd be kind of interesting because you like see stuff pop up that wasn't there before, and who knows, and maybe people try to communicate too in a way. Like maybe these people aren't allowed to communicate outside, so they have to like leave like signs and stuff like that. I don't know. Thought it could be cool. The neat thought that I had. Um but yeah. What was I thinking about? What was I Yeah, the server idea. I don't I think it just could be interesting. Like that's just kind of like odd. It's the fact that you can even like limit a server to just one person. I think in itself is kind of odd, but hey, maybe they knew somebody like me would exist, and they're like, maybe somebody just wants a server just for one person. Um, but yeah, I think it's just an interesting idea. I feel like not sure how that would go down. I think I would love to try to facilitate something like that, but I just like I'm not I don't really have the bandwidth, I think, to do that, like so but that's, just like a random thought. I think I might end the video here. Um just to kind of give like an update on what I'm trying to do in this world really quick is like I'm trying to build like a little tower, and it's like in that little like underground hut that I have. I'm trying to gather resources and such. Semi-passively because I'm mining for actual ore and stuff down here, but I also need like cobblestone, stuff like that, so need to probably need to like have like a quarry or something like that. Something I could just like purely get cobblestone out of, but that's essentially what I'm doing. But yeah, I'll probably end the video here. It's about the same length as the last one. Um, hope you enjoyed. Don't I'm not adding music to these videos because kind of looking to one, to kind of change things up, but also trying to find some music and such to use, because I do kind of like add in like music and such. Um, but yeah, I'll go ahead and end the video. Appreciate you if you listen to the whole thing. Hopefully you know, it's kind of cool to listen to, I guess, or maybe you relate in some way. Um, so yeah, take care, and hopefully I can catch you in the next video. Peace.